Well, Hunter Biden he was on a podcast. It's a 3-hour podcast. A year after his dad drops out of the race, he goes on this scorched earth rant on Democrats in this podcast, uses a lot of foul language, goes after George Clooney for his role in taking down the Biden campaign. Listen to this.
I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor. He is a I don't know what he is. You, what do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, by the way, what do people care about the most? Why do you think that the Republicans have an advantage over us? Because they're unified. They will go along with anything. I wasn't asking anybody to go along with anything. I was asking people to go along with this. The most successful administration in my lifetime.
The most successful
that he can remember.
Record inflation, a border that was overrun,
little blackouts.
Our enemies coming after us. You got wars in the Middle East because of his dad's policies. But you know what? I actually love it. This, honestly, people are making fun of it, but he reminds me of his father. This is Joe Biden in his prime. The profanity, going after people.
Inaccuracy,
making
up stuff.
This is him.
Well, he also said about George Clooney, remember when there was an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, and Joe Biden said it was outrageous? Well, George Clooney didn't like that. And he said that George Clooney kept blowing up the White House, like texting officials saying, how dare he do that? He was going to embarrass the president. He said, Hunter Biden said George Clooney was going to pull out of that fundraiser that he did right before the debate, where George Clooney said that President Biden didn't even recognize him, even though they had been friends for a while. But his wife George Clooney's wife, was a legal expert, recommending the International Criminal Court seek action against Netanyahu over Israel's war in Gaza. So she was in support of what was of the Palestinians and not of Israel. So he was upset.
Yeah, just so you know, she is anti-Israel.
100%.
I mean, I don't know if it's anti-Semitic, but he's totally anti-Israel. She's way to the left. So everyone says, oh, she's got so much class and intellect. Sure. But just understand, she is way to the left. So is George Clooney. So George Clooney, and think about this. If George Clooney doesn't have the fundraiser, he stays at, Joe Biden stays at the G7 when it becomes a G20. He stays in Europe. But instead, he's got to come back for that fundraiser and then go back to Europe again. And obviously, at 111 years old, he's not able to pull it off on a good day, let alone the other days he's on. And then he makes it clear that he's on Ambien, wait a second, that wasn't prescribed as on Ambien. Doctors gave him Ambien because he was so exhausted he couldn't sleep. So he still has 3 or 4 days to get together. So again, if his guy is so unself-aware, I'm pretty sure that's not a word, but if you know what I mean. He's not self-aware in that he did more to damage his father than George Clooney, anybody else, even more than Donald Trump. By that laptop, by putting everything on there, and then having to do all the crack and doing all the stuff, and then go on the West Coast and not paying your taxes. This was like a side story that the press did everything to ignore, but in the end, it kept erupting.
He is so unaware, and he forgets some of his past actions. Y'all may remember when he left that gun, he blamed it on the Hispanics. He said it was some Hispanic. When the police asked for their identity, he said it was Hispanics. Well, now when he gave this interview, this 3-hour podcast, he says, well, who's going to clean your room? This is
defending illegal.
Exactly.
People are really upset about illegal immigration. F you. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your table? Who do you think washes your dishes? White men in America are 45 more times likely to commit a violent crime than an immigrant.
Right. By the way, I'm pretty sure that illegal immigrants aren't clearing my table and washing my dishes, but I got to check again. Right. But at the last minute, I'm pretty sure that everybody who works in a hotel is not an illegal immigrant.
There are a lot of people here from other countries that have work visas to come over. They do it the right way.
Yeah, so he's angry. obviously. The other thing is he went after Rahm Emanuel. What has he ever done? He's going to run for president, use an expletive. He said David Axelrod's been living off Barack Obama. He never did anything else. And James Carville hasn't won a race since the 1980s. Donald Trump's like, okay, guys, you might want to pull back a little. I mean, he eviscerates the Democratic Party in a way.
But this is
Do you think the Bidens are happy?
Oh, of course they are. This is his father. They've been waiting to swing back. Joe Biden has always been a grudge holder. And he didn't feel appreciated by the Obamas. He didn't like that he got sidestepped for Hillary Clinton and she ended up losing. He didn't feel appreciated that he was the one became president after Donald Trump's first term, and he never got the appreciation for that. And so I think this is the family. They robbed him of this nomination for the second time. And I think he's speaking for the family.
Well, so Hunter Biden, I read his ex-wife's book. And the family apparently stopped, they couldn't stand her after she wrote this book because you're supposed to stay quiet.
Right.
And I know someone who worked for Jill Biden in the administration and said that very thing, that if you go against the family, then they will have a grudge against you and they will ice you out. They're very powerful. And that's what he's doing with George Clooney. He has this grudge. He's mad at George Clooney. George Clooney took out that ad in the New York Times and wrote that article about, I love the guy, but he needs to step down.
By the way, just stop everyone should stop thinking that the Bidens he's a good family man.
Yeah, you got to stop that.
It is just not true. As that little girl sits over in New Jersey, where he, as a grandfather, should be like, I want to see my granddaughter.
Had to be shamed and to acknowledge her during Christmas.
Yeah, so, I mean, this guy, and then Hunter Biden, you heard his rants. Read his rants on the laptop. He has so much resentment towards his dad and Jill, because we already saw his innermost thoughts, and we saw that we see how he came out. The daughter's got a few issues with that diary. We still don't know about the validity of that. And Beau Biden, I met him a couple of times. That guy was a fantastic guy. But
sharp.
Yeah, sharp. And obviously, I think maybe he has resentment to him.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.